stretched out like a pair of yoga pants on a big old booty. Okay, so I'm gonna do these rear links real quick. And, well, I don't know about real quick, but just gonna take this transmission skid out real fast. Should only be 4 bolts, unless I'm completely missing something, which is totally possible. Basically, I measured out, and what happened was going wider obviously shortens the links. So I've effectively moved my front axle back, and it's not the way I was looking to go. And we're not having that. So I'm going to push the front forward, and then I'm going to push the rear out, and we are going to go with a little bit bigger tire and go from there. So the only thing I'm going to need now off of this whole thing here is the drive shaft. I'm gonna get the shocks off here and the drive shaft, but first I'm going to measure those links, and then this is gonna add a little bit. So like I said, I'll probably only add about 3/4 of an inch. That way it'll take up a quarter of the end, a quarter of it or so will go towards the angle, and then I'm gonna gain about a quarter roughly going to the wraiths with these mounts, and then I'll have a 1/2 inch or so back. I don't know, I'm winging it right now, so we'll just see what happens. I ended up making the rear links an inch longer, so that pushed the rear end way far back. But with the cage being so top heavy, I kind of wanted to get more of that weight forward and stretch it out a little bit, so that way hopefully I'm moving the center line back and then it'll go. Plus, with using the tires, I tried to put Proline Super Swamper XLs on these China wheels. Never. Just was not going to happen. I don't know how I would have even begun to try to squish that foam, because I use a single stage, especially in this, for the tall tires. And if you've ever used that, that stuff is firm. But it does use a little bit of a gap, so it's okay. So I went ahead and put some different foams in there. And while I do like the look of these, there's almost no way that I literally can't get the other back one on. But there's probably a gap from like here to here on the backside that continued to fall out. So I would get the front end and I'd get everything all squished together, and I'd start getting screws, and then it'd just pop out. Which Proline, they do have a history, I guess, and a tendency of being kind of hard to mount on some wheels. So anyway, I got this on. So what I'm going to do is, now that I know that I'm running these tires, I'm going to basically use that as a starting point for how I'm going to figure all this out. Obviously, we're going to have some clearance issues, or clarence, as my girlfriend and the people around here say. Clarence and crowns are crayons, because they're weird. I don't know. How do you say crayons? Do you say crowns or crayons or crayons? My grandma says some weird crayons. I don't know. Crayons. It's because that's how you spell it. Y'all are weird. So tell me how you say crayons. But we're gonna have to clearance this, and I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that even if I clearance it with this, so if I just take this back and I may just continue this back and then around. So I'm going to try not to make it look just hacked off. So we'll see what we can do. I'm going to kind of map this out. I'll probably measure this here and then just go on back, and I may use some random, once again, my air freshener. These things are wonderful. That's called Citrus Magic. It's pure linen. It smells like laundry. And now my garage doesn't smell like but anyway, so I'll use something like this because it's about the same radius. So I'll just kind of move it back, draw a line. I am probably going to lose this light here, which I don't really do a whole lot of LEDs and lights and everything to begin with, so I'm not uber upset about that, but just kind of something to think about if you're planning on doing the same thing. So I'm going to put us on time lapse and we'll get going. Okay, so what I did was I've got a pair of manual calipers. I basically just measured the distance between here and here, right at that lip and right on top of here, and then set it, and then use that to scribe a line that I'll now cut with my probably my Dremel. And then I just took, like I said, this is like literally the exact radius. So I just took this, put the top part against the top rail of the fender, and then put the back of it right at the edge of the fender, like right where the fender kind of starts to come around, where as soon as it gets flat, I want to cut it right there. And I may just kind of sheet this whole thing. I may end up like using this hole here and just doing like a body armor style fender or something. I don't know yet. So I may do some fenders or something, but I'm gonna cut this out first, see how terrible it looks, see how good it looks, whatever, and then we will go from there. All right, this is pretty obvious, but you only get one pair of eyes. So get yourself, I got these from work somewhere when I was working construction, just earmuffs. And then I got these at a garage sale or a flea market, I believe. They're kind of goofy. They have built-in side shields and stuff, and they were like $1, so whatever. But anyway, just be smart. Don't go cutting shit with no protection on and stuff, because you never know what's gonna fly in your eye, and then you're a pirate the rest of your life. So use your brain. All right, here we go. Also, got a big old tuck that jazz. I do that when I'm welding too. Tuck it in your shirt. That way it's safe. You know, I saw a picture one time of a guy that got caught in a grinder. No good. Don't want any of that. You know, I'm sure you guys have seen pictures of people with. Don't want that. So be careful. Okay, so got that all done. Clean off the little crusties here. I did. I tried to get. I used a burr wheel. I think that's what that's called. Kind of like. I don't know. Here, I'll show you. I used that guy. Can you see it? There we go. That guy. I used that. I like that a little better than the sanding drum for to get that contour. I still need to do a little bit of work right here. It's not quite at my line, but I didn't want to have a 13-minute time lapse of me just grinding and grinding. You guys get the point. I'll finish it up and make it a little prettier here in a little bit. Sorry, bumped the camera. So let's see what this looks like under the chassis. Chassis. Boom. And it still hits. That sucks. I may have to do some crazy, like down the sides. If I was using the shorter tires that I had on before, the Chirocs, it's not that big of a deal. I could have just trimmed it back a little farther, but using the old TSL XL SXs, or whatever the hell these their actual name are, they're TSL SX XLs. They're definitely going to get in, and that's a sharp edge, and it's going to tear the hell out of it. So I guess we go. I'll put another time lapse on and fix that too. Here we go. Okay. You can kind of see that's a lot better now. I do have, if it's this way, this very bottom lip right here will end up getting the side lug of the tire. Basically, it'll be like right in here on the inside. Not a huge deal. The time that it'll be flexed out that hard, it's not gonna be all that often. So, anyway, so there we go. I don't think it looks too crazy for the size of the tire. Now over here, comes uber close to hitting. It'll actually rub a little, but it's not digging in. It's just barely touching. You can kind of see it'll just barely rub the bottom of that, which is fine. So you can kind of see we're good. It gets kind of close here, but it's not all the way in. But you can, here we go, now you can see it barely hits right there. Without getting into the tailgate and making it look kind of ridiculous, I can't do a whole lot about that because that needs to come. I may be able to just angle it a little bit, so it'll be like the bottom of that under the tailgate area. But I don't know. I think it looks fine. Now what I kind of wanted to do, I don't 100% trust these bottom links, but I don't know if I'm going to mess with redoing them. It doesn't take too insanely long, but it just doesn't seem necessary right now. So I need bushings for this, for the knuckles. And then once I get my new wheels, now I guess I wait for some parts, put some things in, and then we shall go crawling. Maybe another week or so. That's all. You guys have a good day, and thanks for watching. I'll see you later.